everyone, this is a Kha'Zix guide. Now, we'll briefly discuss Kha'Zix pros and cons, followed by the rune page and item build, and then we'll take a look at her abilities. Meanwhile, on the screen, there will be a game where we play Kha'Zix in the jungle with this particular build. First, look at the pros. High burst damage, powerful duelist, high carry potential, easy to learn, fun to play, and now cons. Can't deal with CC comps well, can't deal with tanks comp well, can't deal with peel comp well. Punished by mistake heavily. Dark Harvest is a high-risk, high-reward keystone that I personally like to run myself. The early game damage with Dark Harvest is slightly lower than Electrocute, and it doesn't scale that well into late game compared to Electrocute. Unless you get a good amount of stacks with it, Conqueror is the go-to keystone if you are playing against 2 or 2+ tanks bruisers. With Conqueror, since this keystone is good in long fights, it allows you to actually duel against some matchup where normally you will have trouble with Electrocute, Dark Harvest, X, Lee Sin, Eliso, Rek'Sai, or any tanks bruisers. I recommend taking Conqueror if you will be having long-term fights during the game or playing Arivo with Black Cleave. Depending on the opponent's situation and the game's composition, you can make these selections. You can choose Gustwalker Hatchling, Health Potion, and Stealth Ward as your starting items. For your early item pick, you can go for Pickaxe and the Brutalizer. Up to 20 minutes, you can consider purchasing Voltic Cyclosword, Ionian Boots of Lucidity, and Hubris. For your full build, after getting Yumu's Ghostblade recently, you can continue with Edge of Night and Lord Dominic's Regards. This is a passive ability. When Kha'Zix is not visible to the enemy team, his next attack against a champion deals an additional magic damage and slows by 25% for 2 seconds. Enemies with no nearby allies become isolated. This is a Q ability. Kha'Zix slashes a nearby enemy, dealing physical damage. This deals a 110% increased damage instead to enemies, isolated from their allies. Evolved, gain 50 ability range, attack range, and lowers cooldown by 45% against isolated targets. This is a W ability. Kha'Zix fires a spike dealing physical damage to the first enemy hit in a small area. If Kha'Zix is inside the area, he restores. Evolved, fires 3 spikes and slows by 40%, increased to 75% against isolated targets. This is a E ability. Kha'Zix leaps, dealing V physical damage upon landing. Evolved, gains 200 increased range and refreshes cooldown on champion takedown. This is an ultimate, passive, leveling up. This ability allows Kha'Zix to evolve one of his abilities, granting it additional effect. Active. Kha'Zix becomes invisible for 1.25 seconds and gains 40% movement speed. Kha'Zix may recast this ability once within 12 seconds. Evolved. Invisibility duration lasts 2 seconds and gains a second cast.